Game week 3, and we're back. What's up, people? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for all the love I've got so far. I just want to encourage you guys to carry on subscribing, liking and commenting on my videos. I feel the love. I hope you're doing well, all my lovely peoples. This week we're going to be talking about game week 3, but first we have to discuss game week 2. Oh, what a disaster. It was so bad.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I don't even want to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it. Starting in goal, we had Robert Sanchez, who was away at West Ham in the first game, and he didn't get a clean sheet. He got a 3-pointer. I think he made 4 saves, so he got an extra point. Chelsea played well, but obviously they conceded a goal, so it was a bit disappointing. I mean, Sanchez should have really saved it, to be honest. It was really bad from him once again. But yeah, good performance from Chelsea, but didn't get the clean sheet. And then we started off with my defenders. The first defender I had was Pedro Porro, who went away to Man City and surprisingly got a clean sheet. Spurs played really well in that game. I think Man City were completely off it. Spurs played really well, playing on the counter attack, and they defensively played really well as well. So Porro deserved that clean sheet. Yeah, Spurs, I know, can you imagine? So my left back was Malik Diouf. West Ham left wing back, conceded 5 goals and got me 3 points. Even though he got an assist for Paquetá's goal, but he conceded 5 goals, so he got -2 points and didn't get any defensive contributions. Yeah, West Ham, they're awful. Disappointing, but what can I expect from a West Ham defender? West Ham look completely off it right now. And then we move on to my third defender. I had Nico Williams, who was away at Crystal Palace, 1-1 draw. Nottingham Forest had some late chances at the end, should have really won the game. But yeah, Nottingham Forest didn't play bad. They just decent goal from Sarr, to be fair, so can't really complain about that, but still disappointed that he didn't get the clean sheet. We had Cole Palmer in the team. He was originally in my team, but obviously he didn't start because he got an injury in the warm-up, so he ended up going to the bench, and then I ended up getting Nicholas Füllkrug's one off the bench. So we'll talk about Füllkrug later, but I just wanted to let you know I did have Cole Palmer starting, but he's now on the bench now. My second midfielder was Tijani Reinders, who was at home against Spurs and was involved in that 2-0 loss. It was quite poor, to be fair. Reinders, misplaced passes, City were just completely off it, really poor from them. He played really well in the first game, but he is 5.6 million, so you can't really be expecting returns every single week, but I'm hoping that he can bounce back against Brighton away. And then we also had in the midfield Mohamed Kudus, who was away at Man City. Somehow Spurs scored 2 goals and he had nothing to do with it, which really upset me, to be quite honest. Yeah, he stunk up the place. And then we also had Morgan Rogers, and to be honest, this guy needs to be put on fraud watch because he's been an absolute disgrace in the first 2 games. Newcastle at home blank, Brentford away blank. I don't know how he's blanking against Brentford. Brentford have been absolutely awful ever since Thomas Frank has left, ever since Brian Mbeumo has left. You're expecting Rodgers and Ollie Watkins to score goals and they lost 1-0. Absolute disgrace from Aston Villa. They've been poor recently. And then my final midfielder was Florian Wirtz, and that's another guy that needs to be put on fraud watch because ever since this guy's come to the Premier League, he's just been bodied everywhere. I see him on the floor more times than he's creating chances. So absolutely poor from him. We're going to be discussing my transfers for game week 3, and I am thinking of doing a swap with Florian Wirtz for another player that I'll be discussing in the transfer talk. So those are our midfielders, and then we move on to the forwards, and I did have Nicholas Füllkrug initially on the bench, but because Cole Palmer was injured, Füllkrug was my first player on the bench, so I ended up getting his 1 point. So disappointed. Came off at half time, so that really upset me. He did get a goal. To be fair, I was actually celebrating when he scored, but then they got disallowed for offside. When he scored, I was like, yes! But when it got cancelled, I was just like, why? And then we move on to my second forward, Erling Haaland, who was my captain. And I'm not going to go too much in on Haaland because he did so well for me in the first game, but it was so disappointing. And another reason why I won't get in on Haaland is because if Marmoush had just finished 1v1s and finished chances, Haaland would have got 2 assists in that game. Disappointing, obviously, because your captain is blanked. I am going to keep faith in him for Brighton away. He will definitely be my captain. and hopefully he can bounce back with a couple of goals. And then my final forward was Ollie Watkins. Has to be put on forward because Ollie Watkins, absolute disgrace from the Aston Villa forwards. I put faith in them. The double up, it's not even just one player, a double up, and they've got me no points, no goals, no assists, just twos. Absolutely poor. So hopefully Ollie Watkins can bounce back against Palace, but that's a difficult fixture. Crystal Palace in some really good form. So I got a points total of 29 points. So poor. Everyone except... Why are you laughing? Everyone but Pedro Porro blanked in my team. So hopefully everyone can bounce back in game week 3. But it was an absolute disgrace of a score.
Where are you in the overall rank?
I was somewhere around 2 million. So yes, it's not looking good right now. So now we're going to be moving on to my team for game week 3. So my formation for game week 3 is going to be the same one from last time, a 3-5-2. And starting in goal is Robert Sanchez, who's got Fulham at home. Decent fixture. Obviously Fulham played Manchester United last time and they ended up getting a draw. A late equaliser by Emil Smith-Rowe. But I do think Chelsea defensively looking a bit shaky. I'm hoping for a clean sheet, but if I see Fulham have scored, I'm going to be disappointed but not surprised. So I've got my 3 defenders. So my first defender I've got is Pedro Porro, who's got Bournemouth at home, which is an alright fixture, clean sheet wise. Bournemouth are looking good. Semenyo, Evan Nilsson, they've got some good players in the attack. But hopefully Porro can get me a clean sheet and can get me an attacking return as well, because he can put some good crosses into the box and has got a good strike on him as well. So then my second defender I've got is Mickey van der Ven. So yeah, it is a Spurs double up in the defence. I was thinking about playing Ezri Konsa, who's got Palace at home, but the way Aston Villa are playing, I don't see a clean sheet in that game. Hopefully Spurs can give me a clean sheet. They got me a clean sheet with the double up in the first week against Burnley, so hopefully they can do the same against Bournemouth. Then my final defender is Nico Williams, who's got West Ham at home. Really good fixture right now as West Ham are looking really bad at the moment, all over the place in the defence. So I'm hoping that Nico Williams can get me a clean sheet and hopefully he can get a goal as well because it's West Ham. So now we're moving on to my midfielders, and my 5 midfielders at the moment is Cole Palmer, who's got Fulham at home. There are some rumours that he could miss that game due to injury. Things could change by Saturday, but right now I am thinking about keeping Cole Palmer despite he's yellow flagged for an injury. And my second midfielder I've got is Florian Wirtz, and I am thinking about taking him out, to be honest. I mean, I'm not thinking about it, he's definitely leaving. I mean, he's an absolute disgrace, poor so far. And I am thinking about taking him out for Matheus Cunha from Manchester United, our new signing. The main reason me thinking about this is because Man United probably do have the best fixture this week against Burnley at home. So if you want to think about bringing in Brian and Burmo, Matheus Cunha, and if you've still got Bruno Fernandes, I would keep him as well. Even though he did miss a penalty, skied it over the bar, I would still keep Bruno Fernandes if I had him. Matheus Cunha will be there, he'll be transferred in 100%. It will either be for Wirtz or for Palmer. If I hear that Palmer's out until after the international break, then I'll do Cole Palmer to Matheus Cunha and I will have to keep Florian Wirtz. I do want to keep a transfer for after my wild card as well, because for game week 6 when I want to do some transfers to get some Man City players in for the Burnley game as well. So yeah, Matheus Cunha will definitely be in my team 100% this week. So then moving on from Florian Wirtz, we've got Morgan Rogers, who has got Crystal Palace at home. On paper, it's a good fixture, but with the way Aston Villa are playing right now, I don't even know if Morgan Rogers is going to get a return in this game. I'm hoping that he does. I'm really keeping faith in Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins because the fixtures are so good. So Morgan Rogers, please, against Crystal Palace, get me a return. So now we move on from Morgan Rogers and Mohamed Kudus, who has got Bournemouth at home. I think he's more of a person that gives me assists more than goals, doesn't really have a lot of goal threat. But hopefully, if assists is what he does, get me some assists in the Bournemouth game. So hopefully Kudus could do that for me as well. And then moving on from Kudus, we've got my final midfielder, Tijani Reinders. He's playing away against Brighton. Decent fixture. Hopefully Pep can play him in a more advanced role so he can be getting forward and try and get those goals and assists. So we move on to my 2 forwards, and we've got Erling Haaland up front, who's going to be my captain for Brighton away. Yeah, Haaland hopefully can bounce back against Brighton and get me some goals and assists and outscore Salah, who's got Arsenal at home. And then we got my final striker, Ollie Watkins. Again, spoke about him when I spoke about Rodgers. Just please get me a return, get off the mark for the season. Hopefully Watkins can do that. And that is my team for game week 3. I've got 2 transfers, but I do believe if Cole Palmer does start against Fulham, I do think it's a good fixture. I do think he could get some goals and assists, and I do want to save 1 transfer for after my wildcard as well. You're getting transfers for free when you do a wildcard, and then after that I'll have 2 transfers. So I just want to save some transfers for future game weeks as well. Guys, thank you for watching this video. I'd love to get at least 15 to 20 likes. Please subscribe, please comment on what you think I could do better with this team, and please check out my TikTok as well, the Football Technician, and subscribe and like my videos. Thank you.